Padirakottukavu Bhagavati marks the beginning of Appa's life energy in every sense. He strongly believes that it is his abject surrender to her that has brought about the most appropriate twists and turns in his life thus far. His bond with Bhagavati would have, in all probabilities, been cemented firmly during his childhood days when he visited the temple with his father, who exemplified unparalleled devotion to Bhagavati. Everyone in our family carries a very deep spiritual and emotional connect with this temple. And the sole foundation for that is undoubtedly Tata's association with Bhagavati. And therefore, it is no surprise that Appa and I feel Tata's presence most intensely in these premises. Tati was no less of a devotee of our Padirakottukavu Bhagavati. The fact that she went to the extent of offering her dear son himself to the goddess when he collapsed is the greatest testimony to her unconditional surrender to Bhagavati. Nana Chittappa's miraculous revival from a critical mishap is, till date, believed to be Bhagavati's grace upon the family. And episodes like these multiplied Appa's ardent faith in Bhagavati. Barely a 15-minute walk away from the temple stood Hillview, our ancestral home, where Appa spent his early life. The house witnessed the evolution of V.V.RAMANATHAN, and that was largely impacted by his parents, especially his father, ever so evidently. His character formation was also majorly influenced by his closest friends, who are none other than his very own brothers. His bond with Chinnanna is something that I nurture deep in my heart. Barring Vichu Ammanji and a few of his colleagues, I surely don't recollect Appa having anyone except for his brothers as his closest aides. They were, will and always be his best friends. Mundathikot High School is a lot more than an institution where Appa and his brothers completed their education. The school presented them with some of the rarest and most precious experiences that one can ever ask for. Right from receiving classes at school from his very father to watching his father also seamlessly manage the school administration, to finally joining the same school as a teacher and delivering formal classes to his own little brother. He has seen it all, done it all. Aren't these but privileges that many can only dream of? Well, back then, little did Appa realize this himself. While all these were transpiring in Appa's life in real time, he kept wishing that things would be different and that he would take off to Delhi to establish a bigger career for himself. In fact, he bravely took the first step to try his luck and began attending an educational course in Delhi. Call it fate or Mundathikot's reluctance to let go of Appa or Tata's far-fetched vision. Right when Appa finished his course, there came up a vacancy for a teacher in our school, which Tata identified as a launchpad exclusively designed for Appa. Since Appa had not managed to procure a job by then, and also being the loving and dutiful son that he is, he willingly succumbed to his father's desire. Though it seems like a slight compromise back then, I'm sure that Appa now agrees that this career turned out to be the most rewarding one for a spectacular teacher like him. Coming to think of the fact that the love of Appa's life was also devoted to teaching makes me want to believe in the mystical ways of the universe. Allamai was a chemistry professor in Vyasa College when Appa first met her. Appa's respect and admiration for Amma, the professional, and the doting wife who was committed to maintaining the work-life balance at home despite all odds were my first lessons on how to treat a woman right. Amma has always been an inspiration, motivation and an anchor that a man like Appa needed to propel himself. Fulfilling all the duties pertaining to every single role that a woman donned in those days was no meager feat. And I consider Allamai a true superwoman for relentlessly achieving the same for over 25 years. Professionally, she was doing better than Appa based on various practical parameters. However, as a boy, it was when I learned that neither Amma nor Appa had any qualms about this fact that I realized that a woman needs from her man nothing beyond respect, pure love, and the freedom to pursue her passion to develop unconditional love for her man. As a child to this lovely couple, I thoroughly cherish and admire their mutual respect, understanding, and compatibility. Parents who are teachers are generally considered to be strict. However, mine are an exception. They have always been liberal, yet discipline me firmly. It would be more appropriate to say that their discipline, principles, and ways of life slowly crept into my being without me even realizing it, because they adopted a parenting style that emphasizes on walking the talk. Speaking of walking, I am reminded of Appa once mentioning his daily routine of walking over 4 kilometers to reach our school from Attani bus stop. Although he had the option to take another bus from Attani to reach the school, which he did opt for in the evenings on his way back home, he chose to walk that route every morning. The fact that he never bragged or ranted about this to any of us, unlike most of his generation, conveys that he thoroughly enjoyed this walk along the scenic sidewalks of Mundatikot, which was also a good fitness regime for him. The many greetings and respectful gestures offered to him by the villagers whom he walked past probably turned out to be a perfect energy boost for him to jumpstart his day and deepen his conviction in the path that he chose to go forward in life. If your intentions and actions are genuine and well aligned, the universe will certainly lead you unto what you truly deserve. This core belief of mine got reinforced when Appa saw the bright side of what others would have called a crisis and took a bold decision to retire from our school. The choice not only helped him adhere to his principle of sticking to the rules, but also made him break out of the confines of an organization and be approachable and accessible to any student who sincerely desired to be educated without having to compromise his financial security. Lata. This is the canvas on which Appa's second innings as a teacher was painted. The universe truly conspired for Tata's vision to manifest and transition smoothly from one generation to the next. the place that Tata chose to build a home for his sons to access quality education in Thrissur turned out to be the one that witnessed Appa mentoring students from all strata of the society who went on to become the best of their schools. Ramanathan Mash, as Appa is fondly addressed by his dear students, is a born teacher in my opinion. I believe that Appa would not have excelled as much in any other profession, and I completely endorse Tata for bringing Appa back into teaching. Appa secretly nourished a mild regret in his heart regarding his career choices, until he saw his tuition center flourishing way beyond his expectations. Eventually, there came a phase in his life when he too got convinced that there was nothing better that could have happened to him on the job front. The satisfaction that Appa derived from watching his students grasp the concepts when he took classes was much larger than that he derived from seeing them scoring higher marks. Allamai too admired the teacher in Appa, and her deep desire to see Appa blossoming to the best of his potentials came true in his second innings, which actually put her on cloud 9. As a son, it gives me immense pride and joy to say that Appa truly carried on Tata's legacy in the domain of education with utmost sincerity and commitment. And as luck would have it, Appa was blessed to have a daughter-in-law like my dear Sita, who does her best to carry the torch for the future generations of students. She also effortlessly blended into the family with her selfless commitment to attend to the needs of all the elderly members. Sita also gifted my parents with the greatest happiness of their lives, Vishnukutan, their most precious pie. Every time I saw the eagerness in my parents' eyes to meet Vishnu when we visited Ladakh, I was reminded of the eagerness in the eyes of the little kid who stood at the gate of Ladakh, waiting for his dad to get back from work to take him to Ambadi restaurant. Wondering who that is? Yes, you guessed it right. That was very much me. I used to look forward to dining out with Appa and Amma, and they made sure that they did that for me every fortnight. They also took me for a movie twice a month. Those were the days when Allamai's brothers, my mamas and their families developed a tight bond with us. Their contribution and support for the smooth functioning of our family is invaluable. Appa and Amma's rapport with each other's family members is something I look up to with awe. For instance, Appa wrote a book not only on his father, but also on Amma and her family. And to this date, Appa believes that his mother-in-law is the most selfless person he has ever known. His relationship with not only his in-laws, but also my in-laws was handled so gracefully by him that Sita's father mentioned to me in his last days that, when I look back, I believe that the thoughts and ways of life that Marsh adopted are the right ones. I can endlessly go on about the virtues of my parents, the priceless positive impact they have had on me through all these years, and about how, even at this age, they inspire me with their active, mindful, and constructive daily routine. However, the three of us are incomplete by ourselves as a family unit. The presence, warmth, and support of the extended families of both my parents are what have made us who we are today. And the foundation for such a closely knit, large family was laid by none other than Tata. Probably as a symbolic representation of this and a reminder to carry forward the life lessons that he learned from Mundatikot, Appa brought from there a mango tree to plant at Ladakh. Today, the tree is in full bloom just like our family, and my only wish and prayer on Appa's milestone 80th birthday is, let our togetherness, camaraderie and happiness last forever and ever.
പിടിച്ചു കിടണം, നമുക്ക് പിന്നെ ആലോചിക്കാം.